Hi, good afternoon. This is Scott Fortunoff from Jaftex Corporation. I'm the president of Studio E Fabrics. Today I'm here to discuss and show you the May 2020 collections that we have for you. These would have gone out during the quilt market, but unfortunately we didn't have quilt market, so we were debating what to do. And today I'm going to show you what we ended up bringing forth for the May 2020 collections. There are 10 collections in this release, and they ship, one line ships in September and the rest ship October, November, and December. First line up here is American Style by Chelsea Design Works. In the lower left-hand corner, you will see this is an 11 SKU collection. If you want to buy the whole collection in 12-yard cuts, you could buy all 11 SKUs. You need to buy them a month before the delivery, so that would be October 1st. We'd have to have your order for 12-yard full collections. Otherwise, everything is a 15-yard cut, and we will start shipping that November 2020. So up here on page 3, you can see the page numbers and follow along with me in the lower left and right-hand corners. On the top of page 3, we have this great, what looks like a fan formation with using the American flag, really patriotic, really clever, and really impactful when you see it used on the quilts. Then below that, we have on the left side, we have the little ribbon, the Americana colored ribbon. And then on the right side, we have these stars on the blue ground. Of course, you know, people in the US are always making quilts for troops and quilts of valor. So this is a great line for that purpose, and this will be a beautiful thing. So right here on the next page, look at how beautiful and how pretty spectacular this 36-inch panel is. It's a 1-yard panel, and it has that formation with the flags fanning out. And then when you move to page 5 on the top, we have an all over with kind of, you know, offset, you know, shapes and Americana flags and stars. And then below that, we have the ribbon on the blue, stars on red, pigment white stars, which we show as gray and white, but these are pigment white. And then in the lower right-hand corner, or in the middle, we have the blue-brown stars. On the lower right-hand corner on page 5, you will see that we have just color. These were a select group of colors that we felt worked well with this collection, but I wanted to just show you while I have you, this is the whole collection. This is a 40 SKU collection. This is available all the time. We have, these are 15-yard cuts. And this one, we've had, since we bought Studio E, which we bought from Fabric Editions, we've had this whole collection and we expanded upon it a little. But it does really well, and even on the back, we have a free project, but there's some suggested colors that go nicely with this line to complement the stars and stripes. On the next page, we have a stripe, which doesn't really look like a stripe here, but when I show you the layout in the back of the color card, you will see. And then down here in the bottom, we have the triangles or the banners or the pennants, whatever you want to call them. And then here on page 7, we have a really magnificent quilt that uses the 36-inch panel in the center, and it looks pretty awesome to me. I would like one of those on my bed. And then, as I had mentioned earlier, this is the stripe, and you can see how many rows you get. And then just for your edification, or just so you know, on the bottom of page 9, on the left side, we put the previous collections by the same designer. This is a good reference. So if you see the line and you like it, and you say to the rep, hey, what was the line they did before? And then they say American Muscle or Loads of Fun. And then you say, oh, I did great with that, so I'm gonna give this a shot. And then it's kind of an educated guess or a calculated risk that if you did well with the previous line, you could probably do well with them again. Next up, we have Eric Sturtevant, and his line is called Believe in Magic. This is a 10 SKU collection, and this ships in December of 2020. This is based on you know, his daughter, and his daughter, Eric's daughter, believes in magic, and this is her little fairy tale. So here you have on page 11 a really spectacular 24-inch panel, and this could be really used in a lot of different ways. You could cut out the squares that are on the top and the bottom, or you could strip them, and then you could cut out the center square, and you'll see that we do use that in the free project. So that is a 24-inch panel, and it's reduced here by 70%. On the next page, you will see we have the dragons on the blue, adorable boy print, and then we have the bricks. The bricks are, you know, something to rest a little, but it could be used for the castle. And then if you look on the background of the book panel, which is here kind of in the center of the page, you will see that also has bricks. Then on the lower left-hand corner on page 12, we have the rainbows with the unicorn sporadically throughout. And then that same unicorn is in the lower right-hand corner, blasting off of a rainbow onto, with clouds and hearts. Really sweet, adorable line. I would say this is more feminine, but there are definitely some aspects that are more masculine. So if you're looking for something masculine, you probably could figure out something with that. And then on the top left on page 14, we have the yellow ground all over with the fairies and all the characters from this line and the castles in the background. And then below that in the blue, we have the little fairy with the trailing, with the wand and the trailing stars, which is quite cute. And then up here on the right on page 15, we have the castle with all the characters kind of hanging out in the castle. And then below the blue ground with the frogs, with his little crown on his head. And then we have on the lower right-hand corner, page 15, the peppered cottons, shot cottons. Shot cottons are, these are by Pepper Corey. And what a shot cotton is it has threads going this way that are one color and threads going this way that are a different color. And it has a nice texture and has, when you look at it from different areas, it has a different feel, and it's not just a plain solid white or blue or things like that. So these are 10-yard put-ups. These are the different colors that we suggest work with the line, but I have the whole card here. This whole card, we currently have 52 different colors, and these are 10-yard put-ups. This is a great range, and it's been selling very well for us. And then it even has a free project on the back. So let's keep going. On the last page here, on page 16, we show you the free project, which I had mentioned earlier. It has the panel, using the panel right in the center, and then they cut out the blocks that were on the top and the bottom, and they put those throughout around the center panel. On the right side page here on page 17, you could see the close-up of the panel, so you could get an idea of the actual scale of that. So that is Believe in Magic by Eric Sturdivant, and then on this last page here, you just see the pages of the book, and then on page 19 on the bottom, you will see that Eric's previous line for Studio E was A Jungle Story. Moving on, next up we have Pam Vale. Pam Vale has done, I think this will be her third collection with us. One was Ocean State, and there's one other that I will mention when I get there. This is a digital print. So what's nice about this is we can maximize the color usage as opposed to when we print in Korea on traditional printing, which we are limited to 18 different colors. So this is a nice added perk, and these are going to be really colorful and vibrant and really amazing to look at. This is a 10 SKU collection, and this one ships in November of 2020. So up here on the top, we have the octopus or the octopi or the octopum right there with little flowers in the water. Then you have your crustaceans with all these great decorations. And then as we move further down, you have the fish that kind of line up in a stripe formation. You have a blue ground with some starfish and some coral. And then lastly, you have this fun stripe on the bottom that ties it all together. On this next page, 22, we have this block print. This is a 24 by 44 inch repeat. So these blocks keep repeating, and the blocks are 9 by 9. You could cut these out, you could strip them, you could do all kinds of fun things with them. Starting on the lower left and moving to the right, you have your little dolphin print on blue. You have your pink coral, your blue ground coral with green and blue coral. And then you have this really fun watercolor looking basic in the lower right-hand corner, which I could see that being a basic in various colors. It looks really nice, and always nice to have good basic blenders. On the last page here, page 24, we have the free project. And as I had said, they cut out the squares and they use them in that 3 by 4 formation. And then up here on the right just shows you the 9 by 9 scale for actual size. And then lastly, we have the just colors that go with this line very nicely. So that's Blooming Ocean by Pam Vale. As I had mentioned, she also did Ocean State. I guess the other one wasn't in here. Maybe that was her only one. In any case, next up on page 27, Kayomi Harai. This is called Bunny Meadows. She did Epic Owls and Panda Sanctuary. This is another digital line. And you could see, if you look at this line, you see all the colors and all the tones of color. And you could realize why we use the digital printing for this. So starting on the left, we have this panel, spectacular panel, great kids panel, really just adorable. I mean, starting all the way up on the top with these owls and working your way down to the ground where there's bunnies and chickens and little florals. But you could just picture how nice this is going to print on digital, in the digital machines, on fabric, and is just really going to look vibrant. Up here on page 29 on the top right, we have the bunny and chipmunks in the little geometric shapes. And then on the bottom, we have the butterflies on the blender background. And then finally on the right side, we have the tossed animals on another blender background. And you would be surprised, these blender backgrounds have so many different colors and shades in them. And that's why digital is great to use for these lines to be printed. Up here, top left, we have the bunny rabbits on the blue and white ground with the little chicks just playing and having fun. Really very impactful with just the blue and white, very simple, and really pops everything else up when it goes with all these other colorful designs like these flowers and butterflies down here on the bottom of page 30. And then moving back to the top right-hand page, 31, you can see all the bunny rabbits playing. And then below that, you have the gray ground bunny rabbits tossed with, you know, little motifs, butterflies, mushrooms, chickens. And then finally, you have a little geometric, let's call it a plaid, with the silhouette of a carrot. And then we have just colored and peppered cottons that go nicely with this collection, always suggested, as those are our staple basics for Studio E fabrics. Up on page 32, we have a 24-inch block panel. So this isn't a panel. These are just running yardage blocks, and these are great to you know, you could just cut those out or just use them as is, as whole cloth or something like that. And then on the last page here, you have a free project. This is Bunny Meadow Quilt number 2 by Heidi Pridemore, and this is a piece quilt. And then in the back here, you have a quilt, panel quilt, where they use the panel and they cut out all the squares and use those rather cleverly throughout. As I mentioned earlier, you could go to www.studioefabrics.net and you could see all these free projects and tons of others that you could you know, insert other fabrics into. On the last page here, page 35, we have the 9x9 block just to show you the size. On the last page here, this just mentions in the lower left the lines that were by Kayomi before, Panda Sanctuary and Epic Owls, as I had mentioned. Next up, we have ArtLoft. ArtLoft is a newer designer for Studio E fabrics, but definitely building up a following and a rapport. This is a 12 SKU collection that ships in October, and this is really fun, just really very interesting. So this, I'm gonna come back to this print here on the top left, because this is you're gonna have 2 of these side by side. These blocks are 20 by 20. So just picture one right next to it and you get 2 of them. So they're really great. You could put them in the center of a quilt or use them however you want, but you will get 2 of them for every yard of fabric. And then below here, you have this kind of, you know, tie-dye sort of blender. And again, this is a digital collection, so this is all gonna look so amazing and fabulous, and there's so many colors in here, and you're really gonna get your bang for your buck if you purchase this fabric. Then here, this is a navy color ground on the top right. It looks a little dark, but it is supposed to be navy, and you have these flowers and the circles, and really just a fun line, colorful, and it really pops. Then below, you have splash in 2 different colors, an orangey red color, and then you have the purple and green coloration. On the next page, you have these medallions in 2 different colorways on the left side, and then on the right side, you have the triangulation or the banners or the pennants, whatever you want to call them. We have a darker ground and a lighter ground with white, and then we have this kind of plaid, and then we have these Mardi Gras beads in the bottom right hand on page 41. So that was Geofetti. These are the free projects, really fun, very dynamic and very different, very colorful for all those people who don't like just solid, plain and boring and quiet. This one has your name all over it. That's Geofetti by ArtLoft. And then other lines by ArtLoft. Oh, so here's the first, the 24-inch block that I showed you. This is it. So you can see how it lays out one next to the other. These are 20 by 20. And then in the lower left-hand side, you can see the other lines by ArtLoft. That includes Wild Wild West, Christmas Joy, and Christmas Village. Next up, we have the we have the Studio E Fabrics, huggable and lovable books. We are on number 9, believe it or not. I call these books on steroids. Down here on the lower left on page 45, you can see this is a 6 SKU collection. This delivers December 2020. And what we're offering here, if you'd like a taste of it all, you could get 8-yard cuts, but you need to order by November 1st. And that's a little taste of all of them. Each of these panels are 36 inches, and these are books on steroids in that they're not just plain books, they all have appendages. So this one right here is the cat, and the cat has ears, and in the 1-yard panel, you will get the ears and everything you need to put the book together, including the instructions. Next, we have I'm a Little Teapot, and this one has a handle on the side that, you know, that you could hold the book, or you could just use it there, but that's your appendage, and that's why it's a book on steroids. And again, it's all there in a 1-yard cut. If you don't want to buy the whole collection in 8-yard cuts, you could buy 12-yard cuts for any one SKU, or you could, if you sell a lot more, you could buy the whole collection in 12-yard cuts. These are great items to cut up by the yard and bag them and put them on the counter. It's an easy takeaway gift for a young kid, and they will love them. And once you get them hooked on them, they'll want the whole series. There's probably 30 or 40 of these available now, and we've been running these. Every single one we've run, except a couple of the holiday ones, have stayed forever. The next one here is If Hugs Were Colors, I'd Send You a Rainbow. Really sweet, and the appendage here is the rainbow on the top. Next one is Cock-a-doodle-doo, I Love You, and this one has the little tails of all the animals coming out. Really fun and very clever. Sandra Magsamen is actually a true author, so if you went to a bookstore, you could also find her books there, and they have similar qualities to these. This one is called Kiss Kiss Little Fish, and in some of the cases when the appendage is on the top, you might need to use a stiffener or put some batting in to hold it together, because the items, the appendages have a tendency to fall when they're up top. If, however, they are legs or something coming off the bottom, they usually fall better, so it's really kind of smoother. And then last but not least, so speaking of having legs falling down, this is a monkey, and this one is called You Are My Sunshine. So those are the next group of Sandra Magsamen huggable and lovable books. This is number 9, 6 books in the collection. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want the whole thing, you could get 8-yard cuts or 12-yard cuts. Next line is Midnight Hydrangea by Laura Stone. And this is really a beautiful floral line, 10 SKUs, delivers in December of 2020. And here on page 60, we start off with this magnificent purple and blue and pink 24 by 44 inch panel with the dragonflies, the hydrangeas, the pansies, and then below on page 60, you have the peppered cottons that work nicely with these, the fuchsias, the blues, the purples, really nice. Up here on page 61, top right, you have this kind of gray ground with all these beautiful purple flowers, pansies. I'm not gonna say any more flowers because I don't know all those, but beautiful flowers. And then down below that, you have a stripe, really soft, subtle stripe. And then you have your hydrangeas on the bottom right-hand corner on page 61. Top left, page 62, we start with dragonflies. And dragonflies, for whatever reason, have always sold very well for us. So this one probably will be no different. It really is vibrant. The colors really rock. It looks really awesome. And I know all you dragonfly lovers are gonna love this one. So below that, we kind of have a tonal with the purple ground and the dragonflies and some foliage. And then we have your hydrangeas on white from a further distance. And then we have your close-up, top right, page 63 of your hydrangeas. And then we go back to more dragonflies in a different colorway on the gray ground. And then the monotone dragonfly with the foliage on the vibrant blue, really striking blue ground. Here are your free projects on page 64. This one uses the panel in the center, and over here on the right on page 65, you could just see a close-up of that panel and how the size is going to be. So that is Midnight Hydrangea by Laura Stone. Really nice floral line, and you know, came out really nice. So next up, as I had mentioned earlier, peppered cottons, you know, the warp and the weft have different color thread in them. So we are adding more colors to this collection. So we were at 52 colors, and now we are going to be adding 10 more colors. These are 10-yard put-ups. The price, you'll have to ask your sales rep what the price is. I'm not talking about that on this video, but we have all these great new colors. Flax, which is like a tan cream, Granite, which is this nice gray, milk chocolate, which I would love to have one right now. And the next one is Merlot, which I'd love to have a glass of Merlot with my milk chocolate. And maybe even a walnut with the milk chocolate and the Merlot, or a milk chocolate with the walnut inside. And then we have a tomato red, which is like an orange, really vibrant, hot color. And then ginkgo gold, key lime, a storm cloud blue, and tide pool. So really fun. And then when you go to here on page 69, you can see the great project that Pepper Corey designed. And that is a 46 by 46 square quilt. Very fun. Another great introduction from Pepper Corey, who is a sage in this industry, no doubt. Okay, Spin Art 108, pattern number 5401, digital print by Chelsea Design Works, 6 SKUs, delivers October 2020. So Spin Art, I learned things when we design the lines, and I understand that Spin Art, I guess people take classes and they spin the wheel, and then they have different colors come out, and it creates all these really unique designs, and you could see one right here. So it's like a tie-dye sort of thing, same sort of concept. And these are 108 inch, again, digitally printed. All of our 108, for the most part, are 18-yard put-ups. And here we go. On the top left, we have your primary colors. We have below that your Americana colors. Then we have a straight blue. And then we have this great colorway, which I think would go quite well with the previous line, or a line couple back, called Midnight Hydrangea. These colors fit right in perfectly, and this would be great. And then below that, we have the black, and then we have the gray and light tan and dark and lighter black. And then here on the back, you could see the whole repeat of how it worked out, and that is a 13-inch repeat. And that is Spin Art 108 by Chelsea Design Works. Last but not least, we have The Joy of Painting by Bob Ross. So we were fortunate to have gotten the license for Bob Ross, and we are really excited about that. And we've heard from a lot of people that other people are very excited about it too. I'm sure he has a fan club and a lot of followers, but I remember growing up and passing through the TV and watching this guy painting on his beautiful canvas, and just puts together some, his canvas started blank, and by the end of the half-hour show, with a couple dabs of paint, he made the most beautiful scenes, which I'm going to show you here. So this is an 11 SKU collection. It ships October of 2020. This collection we are offering in 10 or 12-yard cuts if you want to buy it earlier in the full collection. In this case, this line ships in October. So if you wanted a full collection, we would need it by September. So let me dazzle you with what we have from Bob Ross. And by the way, just so you know, Bob Ross has passed away, but his art show is one of the most popular shows on TV like ever. So here we go. This is a 24-inch panel. And what's great about this is not only is it a beautiful centerpiece, but you also get a lot, bang for your buck, because down here we have these label prints, which are great if you're giving a gift, or, you want the person who has your quilt to know when it was made, or even if you want to make it to yourself and just say, hey, I made this in 1985, and whatever your notes want to be, so you could have that right there. And on top of all that, you have this little strip at the bottom with the little paint tubes that you could strip that out and use that. And then finally on the bottom, we have some suggested peppered cottons that work well with this line. In the center of this next page 78, 79, we have this great block print. These blocks in the center are 10 1/4 by 13 3/4, as you can see on the bottom. This is another great one, very versatile piece. You could cut out the squares, you could strip the paint brushes, tons of different options there. And that is a great thing. So I zoomed in by accident. Let me zoom back out. All right, so down here in the lower left, I'm gonna go left to right. You have the, paint palette, or, Bob Ross is mixing all the colors up. And then for all you real hardcore fans, you have a Bob Ross print, which will be great. Maybe it'll look back on the look nice on the back of the quilt. And then you have these squirrels. I guess he was very fond of squirrels. Maybe he even had a pet squirrel, but there you have the squirrel. And then you have your different assorted paint tubes. On the next page, on the top, page 80, you have this kind of collage of all various ones of his designs. And in the back, when I show you the back of this card, you will see all the designs together and see how that lays out. On the lower left-hand corner, page 80, you will see a happy little tree. That's what he always says. I have a happy, let me put a little happy little tree here and a happy little cloud. Right next to the happy tree, he's got his happy little clouds. He touches the canvas a couple times, and it's just amazing. After each show, he's got a work of magnificent art. And then up here on page 81, we have these different little blocks with different images. And then you get a lot of bang for your buck on this one too, because you could cut out the images, you could cut out the paint tubes, you could cut out the paint brushes, or you could just use it as a whole cloth and use it all together in one shot. And then on the bottom of page 81, you have the different paint brushes. In the back here, we have the free project. The first free project is a quilt where you cut out the major piece of the panel and put that in the center. And then you could also make placemats, which you can see there, which, listen, they will look amazing in your summer house or at any dinner table. Will definitely put a smile on someone's face. Then on page 83, over here on the top right, we have, this just shows you the detail of that block print that I said could be used as a whole cloth, or different cutouts could be used. You could see the whole layout, and then the collage print on the bottom right. So you could see how that lays out. And then you could just see a close-up of the actual size of the panel. So that is Bob Ross. Those are the 10 collections. After that, in the back of this book, we show the September 2020 collections. And those collections, we will be placing orders for those at the end of this month. So you could look through those at your convenience. If you have not ordered them, we welcome your orders. So I'm Scott Fortunoff. I'm the president of Studio eFabrics. I thank you for joining me here and hearing me out when I explain to you the May 2020 collections from Studio eFabrics. Now that you've seen this all, we welcome you to contact your sales rep, or wait for your sales rep to contact you, contact customer service, order online, contact me. We are here to work with you however we can. We thank you very much for your time and hope to see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.